So I want to talk about being misunderstood and having to accept that to actually be yourself, you're going to have to be misunderstood, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think there's so much freedom in just like letting people misunderstand you. I have been realizing lately, sometimes I say things and I feel like I can sound kind of defensive. I realized I don't need to be defensive because I don't need that protection. I feel like my soul knew I didn't need that protection, and that's why I was like protecting my soul. I feel like I have found my voice really, and I feel like finding your voice comes from knowing what you stand for. My life before, I never had any boundaries. I never had a voice. You have to go experience things in life to understand like what your boundaries are. And that's why I don't understand when people say do not tell people like what you've tolerated in the past. The whole point to go through experiences is to become more aware, and I feel like there's so much judgment in this world, and this ties into misunderstandings because I feel you go online and you just see a lot of people talking about other people's lives, and I realize a lot of people are doing this because one, I feel like people do not know how to communicate. I feel like the world does not yet know how to communicate with one another. I just feel like a lot of that is a reflection of our lack of capacity for other people and just how unhealed the world is. And this is why a lot of people are so evil. And obviously I know individually, like we all know someone that is a good person. We all know people that have good hearts, and I feel like we can run into people in life that have amazing hearts and they're great people, but we can also run into people that makes us close off, or maybe they teach us more of a lesson. But every experience in life is indeed to teach you a lesson. So we went through that experience to learn the lesson, because the thing is, you can read as much as you want, you can study as much as you want, you can learn from other people as much as you want, but at the same time you are meant to go down life and go through certain experiences. And even though some experiences bring pain and some experiences bring joy, and they're on these opposite polarities seemingly, it's all connected to this larger vision. So going through certain things, I feel like I became kind of this shell of myself, and I feel like I went through experiences that broke me open, almost like in that healing, that isolation, in that finding my voice, because I feel like the creation of voice and the creation of self and the creation of really knowing your center so you're not getting triggered and projecting like everyone else online, everyone else in the world, something online. I feel like collectively there's a lot of people just all coming at one another, and there's this lack of love between humans. There's so much division between humans, and I feel like sometimes we can even lean into, like, I think culture is a beautiful thing. I really do. And even though I don't believe in religion, I think that there's a lot of evil in religion and a lot of control and a lot of weaponizing the divine. That's probably the worst thing in life that you could do. But at the same time, I think that culture is different than religion. I think embracing culture and embracing certain ways and learning different experiences is beautiful, but also we are here to know our voice. Our real voice comes from our soul. And once you actually know who you are and you know what you stand for through going through these experiences, you know what you stand for, and that creates a voice, and that creates a no nonsense mentality. But that is not judging. I look at the world and I think the world is very judgmental, but then I look at myself and I don't think I'm a judgmental person, because I know I'm not, but I think a lot of people perceive me as I'm very judgmental. But every one of my boundaries is very intentional, right? Like I had no boundaries. I put up with the absolute worst. I was in horrible situations, and I don't have shame for talking with these things. You know, everyone's on a different creator path in their creator journey, and everyone's creator journey is completely unique. I feel like I'm just at the beginning. Even though I've been figuring out my voice for years, I really do feel like I'm just at the beginning. But there's some people who have a voice, and although I can have different perspectives than them on certain things, like I genuinely value their voice for like certain reasons. I feel like often sometimes when people have a real voice, you can kind of been a target. I had this protection over myself, even though I knew who I was at the core, even though I figured out my soul, I was subconsciously being defensive. I just randomly had this realization. I was like, I should make a video about this. Let people misunderstand you, because I was always rushing to defend myself out of habit, rushing to this, rushing this. I don't need to, you know, like you can have your boundaries and you can know what you stand for now, but at the same time, how rooted can you be but also expanded? I think I heard someone say sometimes, and I don't believe this is like all the case, you want to be rooted in something, have something you stand for. Oh, side tangent, it makes me very sad when you're in an experience or you haven't experienced anything, unless you know you're not going to know that. It takes a lot of reflection to know your voice. The reason why I say you should not care what anyone thinks is because you shouldn't. If you do have an opinion, that's an actual opinion. It's not from this judgment. I'm going to try to describe this because these things are very different. I feel judgment, it's everywhere, but people disguise judgment as a moral compass, or maybe high boundaries as something as judgment. But I feel like they're completely different things, because again, going back to the thing about rootedness, I feel to have my boundaries, that is me being rooted, and I will never put up with that again. That's me saying, I will not tolerate that. I will not tolerate that. I will not tolerate that. It comes from life experience and understanding my own limitations as a person, and knowing what I would rather be without than entertain. And I feel like if anything takes from you, people say love is about sacrifice, but I don't know if it is, because I feel like love should really just align with your souls, and we should not have to suppress. I feel like love, it's not about this game. This is kind of a side tangent, I guess, but everything's about love. So it's not about how much someone makes. Would you really be there for them if they got sick? Love, it is a sacrifice in that way. When you love someone, you never see that as a sacrifice if it was really love. Things are more complicated. I mean, actually, I think earlier I put on Threads or something. I don't even know. I have like 3 Threads accounts. It used to be way more unhinged on there. Then I realized maybe I can't be as unhinged on social media. People reporting my account and stuff like this. People are so annoying. And that's what's so funny to me, when people like try to be polarizing purposely. I was not realizing people online were actively trying to be polarizing. Once I heard someone say that, I realized, of course, like you go online, you look at everyone, it's like they're so polarizing, but they're polarizing it in a way that's not authentic. It's so weird. I feel like I was suppressing my being polarizing, but the way that they're being polarizing is something so brain rot. Not everyone, but like a lot of people, a lot of the things that are pushed, it's not necessarily great. It keeps you what? Stupid. I feel like sometimes you have to dig for good things, which I hopefully will change. Anyways, that was a side tangent, but the thing is, I said something about, does it mean to kill the ego for love? I always felt like, for me, I never had to kill my ego for love. I always felt like I've always just wanted love and been loved. You know, at times I've been kind of looking at certain actions they made in the past, and you know, everyone can misunderstand you. Obviously, they can misunderstand you. I was realizing, oh my god, like I'm so hard to understand. It's been really hard to understand why I was the way I was in the past, and I had to like really like study myself and understand myself, because I'm like, well, why was I like this? Why did I make these decisions? Why did I do this? Why did I put up with this? Why couldn't I have done this better? Why was I not seeing that? Oh my god, it's so hard to understand yourself. Of course, people are going to misunderstand you. Everyone is going to know a little piece of you, and that's life. And I wish that would have clicked in my brain sooner, because I don't know why it's like just clicking now. I feel like I've been saying forever, like, oh, who cares what people think? Sometimes like I would do embarrassing things to like make me burn bridges. I don't know. I do my own humiliation ritual. I am just embarrassing, I guess, sometimes. And I'm just like, well, why did I do that? Like, why was I so bad at this? Why was it so awkward? I look at myself like that. At the same time, like someone could look at what you're doing as not horrible, not awkward at all. It's just that you are not seeing yourself correctly, right? I feel like a lot of things go down to perception of everything, and it's so fun if you can't even see yourself clearly, if you can't even see your own soul properly and own it and step more into your soul, more into your beauty, because of all these barriers and blocks. If you can't even know that about yourself, and you are in reflection all the time, and you're constantly working on yourself, just imagine how many people misunderstand you. If you are doing that to yourself, of course people are going to misunderstand you. People can know versions of you, and they can like versions of you, but not like another part of you, and that's okay. Part of me feels, yes, we should be able to like look at someone else from like a whole perspective, but also have in the frame and have in the mind, we should look at people as whole human beings, not just take a sliver of them or whatever and like hate a different part of them. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm saying not every part of us is for everyone. Oprah, I heard her say something before, how she has like her kitchen. I think she has a book she talks about this in, where she has like a kitchen for like different people that she goes to. She says something like this, I don't know the exact words. She's curated her kitchen of people, so she goes to different people for different things, and not that people should complete us. Like we really should have that inner centeredness and inner wholeness within to be able to hold ourselves. It's not that sometimes we cannot rely on people, or it's not that we are not whole, but it's kind of in the same way we aren't, because sometimes life can just throw rocks at you and break your windshield. Unpredictable shit can hit you out of nowhere. Things can happen out of nowhere. People like to judge. You know, I don't like to usually use names, but I'm not using it in a negative sense, because I think the whole internet, it's disgusting me how the internet is thinking it's so normalized and okay, especially like they're talking on a topic from a higher moral standpoint, and they're talking about these topics. There's a way to contribute to the conversation, because there's this gap between creators online, and a lot of them have huge platforms doing all these things, and I'm like, okay, I understand, like, you can only do so many great things. They are not having a voice or sticking up for certain things in humanity when it really does matter. I heard this one creator say, if you are in politics, and this was actually a good perspective, and I actually agreed with this, because I feel like the entire world, especially if you are a creator, side tangent, expects you to know everything about everything. Do you realize there's always a distraction? I know these are real life events going on. I think they are, because it's like, how do you even trust what's going on in the world? I've spent years just trying to study like what's going on in the world. If you focus on that on one way, it's all a distraction because you can't do anything about it. But at the same time, you can stand for something. I hope this is making sense. Like, it makes sense in my mind. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like we need to discern a little bit more. We need to listen to the intuition a little bit more. That intuition is not a reason just because you had an icky feeling about someone. Yes, you should follow that. There's so many people getting scammed in the internet. Why are these people getting scammed? How are you getting scammed so easily? I guess there's impersonation. I do think a lot of the world is becoming more conscious. I do think that. I feel like there's a lot of people that are annoyed with certain things in the internet. They aren't just worshiping people that literally don't care about you anymore, which I think is good, because it's like, what the fuck is wrong with the world? We should be creating. We should all be creating. But it's also so disgusting how so many people slander one another. You can stand for something. You can have a problem with something if someone doesn't support something. But it's so interesting how if someone actually has a true voice, and they're actually being a creator to help, how so many people will slander them. They will slander that person for what? Because you didn't agree with something they did, or that something happened in their life. And there's so many different creators I feel like that's happening to in the spiritual space. I think it's important to look at people that if they typically have a voice that we trusted, and collectively if a lot of people trusted a certain person and someone does something that's not in alignment with their actions, we should question that collectively. We should of course question people. We should question people based off their moral compass. I hope this is making sense. This is a little bit side tangent, but I think that there's so much judgment in this world. It's completely different than standing for something. The judgment, it comes from this perception. You can get annoyed with people and they didn't do anything. They didn't annoy you. You annoyed yourself. I guess that was a little bit of a side tangent. Sometimes when you look at themes outside of yourself, I always say, well, okay, what's going on this week? Like, what's going on? Sometimes like I don't know what I'm going to talk about, and then like I go on with my life. You know, I'm just like doing things. I've been trying to spend time outside because it's summer now, and I get tanned very fast. It's because, you know why? I don't eat seed oils. I don't burn. I have other examples of how people will misunderstand you. I don't know if that last example kind of it made sense, you know, it just takes some unraveling to understand. It's like an answer I didn't grass fed, I guess. So going into everyone's journey is just different. Someone can look at one thing, right? Or they could see like 5 things, but even them perceiving you, like say they're watching a video of you or hearing your voice, it's like, yes, you are getting to know people. I think that's a good thing, because I feel like humanity has been so separate. Like, we've all been so separate from each other. We've been taught to hate each other throughout the years of the history. I know sometimes like the school systems are not the best. Some of the teachers were like mostly just conditioned, and like actually half of them were pedophiles. Seriously, it's a really bad problem. I think a lot of people get into policing, and I think a lot of people get into the school system for maybe like they have kinks with power and control, and kind of like they're losers and their life's over. I'm not saying everyone, but they do that for power. You know, I've dealt with some of the police before for like the most fucked up reasons, and I've seen how corrupt they can be. Not all of them, but a lot of them they just love it. They love the power, and they're racist as hell. Some of them, obviously we're not going to group whole people into that, because my cousin actually went to the policing force, and she hopes to be the change you want to see. Like, someone can be a good person in a system, but there's also like a lot of corrupt reasons why people get into system. There is a lot of corrupt reasons why people do things, and they paint this image of like, oh, it's high morally just to do this. The world is weird. Look how sick society is. Look what's normalized, and it's not from this judgment place. It's so sad what's happened to people. For example, I could have like strong beliefs. Okay, don't eat seed oils. Don't drink fluoride water. If I'm like actually forget to drink water for like 5 days, if I'm dying, I'll have a sip of tap water, which is not the best. But also whatever the birth control, I don't know if there's like birth control in the water or something, which get the fuck off birth control. And that might seem judgmental, It's not. It's actually ruining your health. That is a perfect example. I don't want to be judgmental towards anyone because I feel like everyone's so judgmental because they see a little piece and they view things through their lens of perception. They view things through their complete level of perception, or they get triggered. Like, I feel like most people online or anywhere. That's why when you go in this path, it's not that I don't want a family. It's not that I never wanted to get married. It's not that I never wanted kids. I wanted family more than anyone. I wanted friends, family more than anyone. But the thing is, when you walk this path and like are true to yourself, you lose anything that's not 100% genuine and pure and true. The more that you are true to yourself, you know, the more that you're true to that core blueprint, the more that you will have those targets on your back. And sometimes that's from the closest people to you and they don't even know why. It brings things to the surface because sometimes, like, when you are just yourself, you just have a lot of people, they can just project onto you when you are also just open. Because I feel like you can be so rude to yourself and it be open, and so that openness creates a space where people feel like they can just vomit onto you and say all these things. I don't take it as like people are just trauma dumping. A lot of this world has not been told to hold space for other people, and they're like, oh, everyone should deal with all these things alone. Someone should be perfectly healed, this and this. No, I don't think necessarily. I think that we should hold more space and we should be more there for other people. Why is this world in one sense become more transactional? And this ties in because it's just all ties in. Everything's connected. That's why you need that experience and discernment. There's 1,000 million reasons and everything. There's 1,000 examples of everything. I feel like if you do love someone and you can want to be there for someone and not want to love someone unconditionally, or you want to do something purely, you want to do something from a good place, but you can also understand without that structure there, you know? And so I feel like we can always make judgment calls about everything instead of just like sitting back and observing. I have thought about this. I kind of want to be like an art gallery. I create things, I do things, and who cares? Who cares what the commentary said? In one sense, you want to do the art in a good way. Like, you don't want to be one of those artists that goes and puts a couple, like they're a fraud artist, like splashes of paint and they charge like $1,000 million or something. But no, they have this connection to the art and they're trying to express something. I feel like that's what art is. Like, what determines good art? Is it not this soul expression? Is it not just this like agony to translate your soul? This desire to translate your soul? And I feel like it's very difficult to translate your soul, right? I was taught English in a certain way, but English doesn't even make sense to my soul. There's that resistance. We have this physical barrier that creates this resistance between our soul. You are being yourself, but at the same time, to have to understand yourself and translate that soul, you're gonna maybe have 1,000 iterations. The author of White Knights, I feel like there's certain writers which I really want to read their books because I've heard quotes of them, and I read White Knights. I kind of related to it. I felt like that girl. You know what reminded me? It was kind of like the innocence to her, believing this love, and then she was like ranting about this love story to this guy that was supposed to be her friend or something, and was like there for her and all stuff. Then he fell in love with her. Then she was like still in love with this guy in the past. She's like believing in this love. Then she had to wait for like a year because this guy's like, okay, I'm gonna go off. I have to go attend to like business. I have to attend to the physical world. Like, he had to build something. I guess the message was like he had to build something in the physical world. But then it was been a year. Within this year, they did not have any communication. So she goes on, creates this whole thing in her head about this interaction that they had with each other. Or she goes down to this breakdown, I believe. Maybe I'm getting this story wrong because I have not read it in a while. She breaks down to this friend, and I forget, she starts to like entertain romance with him or entertains the idea. But I believe she was saying, how could I be so stupid for believing this connection was real and love, and he was coming for me. It's just so me, because I'm just like la la la, soulmates. You know, when you do experience that kind of love and connection with people you never could be yourself around, people, and you do share that kind of love with, it is a special thing. In the world, the physical world likes to judge love. I feel like a lot of people love to be in this 3D perspective. Love is such a complex thing. It likes us to be like, this is how this is how men are, this is how people are. Anyways, so she's like, how could it be so silly for believing in love? And I feel like that's me, because when you do experience a kind of connection with someone, you can believe in it and you can feel like you're in love and you believe in it because you felt that, you were there and you felt that connection. And when you feel something that is so your soul, and then you see something in the physical and it completely misaligns and it completely mismatches with that, you can go into this breakdown to question reality, and you can think like, oh my god, how could I ever believe this was real? I think she went to this, oh my god, I hate him, like, how could I ever believe this? How could I waste my time? All the stuff. He did write her a letter saying how he did have this love for her, and then they got married, or so, I don't know, he came back, and then he kind of had the feeling that like the girl would go to him because that's what her heart lied, even though she switched right back again for thinking she was hysterical. But he did come back, I think he was late or like wrote her letter or something, and so then she went back back into like believing in that. I just thought that was really interesting, actually. I don't know why I mentioned this book, I wasn't playing on it, but then I realized how it's kind of related to being misunderstood. I feel like people love to look at situations through their view of other people. It's so sad to me. I feel like sometimes the people that give the most wisdom are the most targeted. There's a reason for this, because you look at society is ill and society's weak, and just because there is a herd of people, that doesn't mean that that herd of people is more powerful than that one person. You know, even you go online, you see something has a million views, like 10 million likes. Why does this have 10 million likes? It's just complete brainwash. If you see something intellectual, you put more effort into it, the lower the views it's going to have. Hopefully this is going to change in the future. I believe it is changing, and I think that anyone can see spiritually that is going to be the future, because as consciousness in everyone and collective, you could see people awakening. It is individuals, whoever souls in this lifetime chose to awaken, whatever souls chose to awaken. It's not that they are the chosen ones. Everyone's chosen. Everyone's a soul. Everyone's on their different levels of evolution. When people talk about that shit, it's not from this like hierarchy, but it is from this place of this soul chose to come down here to participate in this great awakening. And it's not that like people are NPCs, it's that it's not their time to go through an awakening. And so that's actually a good way that people can also misunderstand you. Maybe you can grow up in a large city and be in a large city and you can feel completely like an outlier. I think you can in any culture, in any environment. And I think that souls are displaced all over the world in certain environments. So I felt like personally for me, where I'm from growing up, because I think we should speak from experience again, not that the entire world's about me, but I should see the world through my lens. But I also have to understand I can look out to the world, but what I'm seeing is also through my lens. It's through my lens of what's my algorithm. Even though I think that a lot of the algorithm, it's like just the algorithm for everyone because they push certain things. It can be kind of curated, and life, the people that we go and see, the way we walk, where we go to work, I guess that kind of is also curating our algorithm. But I also kind of do believe if we are really meant for something, like it cannot pass us by because that's our path. Everyone feels misunderstood in life. Going back to NPC thing, I think it's not that certain people are such as divide between like NPCs. I just think that like every soul is on a different level of evolution, and it's not like a hierarchy thing. If someone's walking upstairs and they're on level 10, just because they are on level 10 and you are on level 5, it's not this podium where you were in this race. It's just walking the stairs. Maybe you started at a different time. Maybe you took a detour down this different journey. You're just on different timelines. You're on different timelines about life. I think every soul's on a different path of evolution. But I also think sometimes there is this divide. There is this herd mentality. You cannot take anything personally. Reflect. There's so many people that are just like, fuck you, I don't care, I do what I want. You should do what you want and follow your soul, but we should also have consideration for other people. There's so much deep fake videos online, but I watched this video of this guy saying, and I don't even know, we should not use names because there's so many deep fake videos. People don't understand the extent of how much content out there that is not real. There's people that are like bashing AI, and then they're like commenting under a video or a person, and they have no idea it's AI. They think they know. Not even just AI, like unreal content, because there's so many people that are just copying scripts. But I think the future is people understanding. That's a beautiful thing, right? And I think that sometimes when someone embodies something and someone goes down this path and they recognize something within themselves, that gets them more misunderstood. The more that you understand yourself and the more that you kind of like embrace that, I think the more you're going to be misunderstood. People will want to put you in this box. If you face something within yourself, it's very clear to me that most of my experience with people, that I will face some, because why have I had these experiences with people to the point that I can't feel safe with people? It's not that I can't feel safe with people, it's that my body has learned people are not safe, and I can try to reprogram that. I can try to ease my way back into safe people and to have these boundaries, use my discernment, and there's a red flag that comes up, remove myself. But at the same time, like, it doesn't mean I cannot be safe with other people. That was a little side tangent, but the whole thing about being misunderstood. So when you start to see more of yourself, it's going to make you more misunderstood, because people will take things and they will attack you for it. They will gang up on you. They're waiting for you to misstep. They're waiting for you to fail. They are collecting things. They are doing all these things to make something out of you, to try to gain something off of your downfall. This world, people are just so committed to misunderstanding you. There's this actor I was telling my dad I like. He said something to me, oh, she's not a good person. And I'm like, this actor, she's one of the reasons why I didn't feel like movies were wrong. I looked up to her and I saw when I was like a child, she's so cool. She's like a humanitarian. She uses money to do this. Like, she wants the film to be like a cultural voice. I feel like people like to trash all these different industries and things. No one should be a creator. No one should be this. It's not that all these things are wrong. I just think that every industry is going to be completely revamped. Everyone's on a Netflix show today. There's a bunch of stuff out there. There's a slap out there, and it keeps you in this loop. It keeps you in this loop of consuming. But when I talk about film, I'm talking about people that create things and they tell messages through it. They tell their stories through it. That's their way of expressing. That's their way of connecting. I think sometimes, is there any separation between the art and the artist, right? And this is obviously does not apply into everyone. Like, this is a probably very, very niche experience to probably relate to very few people. But at the same time, again, I have to tell things through my lens, because if not, what am I doing? Then I am living someone else's life, because I am so afraid to share my story. Everyone has a voice. Everyone's value. It's not that one person should be on a pedestal. Everyone can have their own art gallery, and people can walk by the gallery if they find it interesting, and if they're going down their journey and they're like, okay, I'm going down this path. So that's why you come across other great artists. There's other great artists. Why do you become interested in these people? Perhaps because you're going down this path. When I was younger, I think I was like 16 at the time, there's this guy, Romeo Dallaire, and he came to give a speech about the Holocaust. I forget its exact story. When I was 16, I just was volunteered for this guy, but then I ended up meeting him and having one-on-one conversations with him, and he was one of these people, when like you meet an older guy and he's not creepy at all. He just reminds you of your grandfather. I mean, I am lucky that the men in my family were not pedophile. I was lucky that all perversion came from not the men in my family, thank God. So my grandfather always felt like a warm hug, comforting. So that guy, Romeo Dallaire, I don't know, like it just did not feel weird. So I appreciate people like that. They're just like inspiring. They actually have inspiring stories, and they aren't like weirdos. There's a lot of darkness in these industries, but also when you think about the way that things should be, it doesn't mean things can't not be created from that. I think if you do things for yourself, there's no one stopping you. Kristen Stewart said there's all these guys in this film industry, they like to make it seem they're the only ones that can make a movie, but actually anyone can make a movie. But like, what do you need to make a movie? Like probably millions of dollars. Anyone can tell a story. Anyone has a voice to make a movie. I think there's platforms now, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be another platform tomorrow. And I don't think that's what people understand. I see a lot of people worship these platforms. I think that the platforms should be co-creating with people, because then look at all these platforms. What matters is the people. What matters is who uses it, right? And that's why all these platforms, they lose their voice because they don't stick to what's true to themselves, and they sell out. But then it's fine. It's fine. You sold out. You got your money. But guess what? A new platform is going to come. You got money. You never kept your platform pure to what you created to. I don't, know what's going on with Elon Musk. I don't know what's going on with the people in the world, like all the drama. Like, how the fuck could I? That would take a full-time job. I'm pretty sure he did create a platform to have free speech, in which most of these platforms don't have free speech. I'm not American. I still find when people are like, oh, you American girl, another white has an opinion. Like, you didn't fucking listen to what I said, okay? Little threatened boy, little threatened man-childs all over the internet. And girls are bitches too. Like, I made a whole different video talking about how women are evil, and I could have gone on in more detail, honestly, but I think my camera ended up dying. Like, sometimes I lose files because my things end up dying, and I have like 2 minutes left, and then it just dies, and then I'm just like, hey, well, I'm not going to refilm this, or like I'm just gonna put this up because you are where you are. And I would love to do an outro sometimes. I would love to do this, but sometimes my thing just gets corrupted, my file. Who cares? Sometimes you just have to do the best with what you can. You can always try to improve, but people are always gonna have something to say about yourself, how you're not this, you're not this. But I think it's also to understand, like, everyone's at a different point in their journey. I used to compare myself to people that were like at stage 7. I felt like, okay, I'm at stage 1. If you are a certain age, it's also okay to act the age. If you are 26, it's okay to act 26. If you're 21, it's okay to act 21. And I feel like that's what people also don't understand. The formation of our brains in that age that we are biologically, it's very impactful on us. And I feel like there's so much creation out there. There's so much everything out there that's just like, women should know this, like women should know this, like women should wake up. I feel like I went through my spiritual awakening really quite young, actually. I know some people, they don't become disconnected from their gifts, but that wasn't my story. I talked about some other videos where I've gone through experiences when I was younger about reality and dreams and like experiences and what I saw and things like this, and became disconnected. That was my journey, and it was like dormant. My heart was, cold, all these things. I don't know, my heart was like ice. I was just broken as fuck. And then I went through my activation. You can be spiritually, like, understand, like, oh my god, this is why I'm here. Do you realize how painful that is? First of all, just feel that grief, realize all that pain, and look how far life takes you from yourself at such a young age, like how lost you are. how fucked up my brain was from things. Sometimes I feel like I can make things look easy, but that's why I'm so fine to embarrass myself. There's gonna be very few people that will actually be with you with multiple steps of your journey, and that's okay. Because if you have yourself, or you're rooted within yourself, it's also not about attachment. Like, we can have different phases of our journey with other people, and if someone doesn't align with you anymore, then they don't align with you. I feel like there's critters which I used to really like, and I used to kind of compare myself to when I was younger. You're 21, you're an impressionable girl. Like, it's really hard going up the internet with, I think, guys and women for completely different reasons. We hate each other for it, but like, it warps our brain, it destroys our brain. We don't have that compassion. It's all like, we hate, like, I'm like that too. I'm like, fuck man. Because the thing is, like, I look at these things, I'm like, I probably should be more mad, but then I'm also looking at it from their perspective. How are we conditioned against one another? That's not about me going to this being naive or being male. Like, I'm definitely not male-centered. Why do we have to be one way? Can't we just hold different perspectives at once? That's the thing. The more multidimensional you are, the more that you're able to reflect and change your mind, hold different perspectives, be flexible. You know what they say? To have a flexible mind is to have an intelligent mind, because you are willing to bend, and that is not a weakness. Like, society says that's a weakness. No, it's a weakness to not have anything, to go for anything. So if you try something once, you know that's not for you. You tried it, right? But it's not to completely leech yourself to anything because you don't have any sense of self. I think people think narcissists are people that they just are so full of themselves. They have just such a high sense of self. No, narcissists have no sense of self. That's what they claim, and they attack yours. They attack yours. They'd say you're the narcissist because you believe in yourself. You should believe in yourself, but have that expanded perspective for others. You don't know the psychological reason why some people make certain decisions, right? So when you understand that, and you also see yourself judging someone else, understand maybe you are judging them. Maybe that is your moral compass, but maybe something is arising within you because that is reflecting back something on you. It's so easy for us to project and to give the blame on people. And when you realize that, you realize, okay, well, I'm not going to care what anyone thinks, because you'll be misunderstood no matter what you do. There'll be someone there that wants finances. Like, you look at all this paparazzi shit, what they do to Justin Bieber, it's actually disgusting. There's some celebrities that, like, they want that, and that's fine. They can call the paparazzi. There's people that do that, which is fine. Probably takes better outfit pictures than your assistant or whatever. But the thing is, some people just want privacy, and there's people that are so invasive. They try to exploit you, and they try to paint any image in a way that is not true, because they just want something that's going to make the most views and the most money, and something that makes the most views and the most money is not always integrity. It's not the truth. It's not these things. Why would people even want this? Why are people also doing these streams, building these things? Yes, you're getting views. Yes, you're the hot moment of today. How are you a luxury brand and taking people with no voice? Vogue, all these magazines. I would like beg my dad when I was a child. I had like a Cosmopolitan subscription, and I would go through the magazine, and I was like 8 years old, and I would see like, okay, well, oh my god, like, what is Miley Cyrus wearing? And it was just all so cool, but it wasn't this exploited way. It was this way of expression. It felt like it really did in creation, and it felt like something you can go see someone that's like inspirational. Maybe I wasn't reading all the proper magazines, maybe it was all bullshit, I don't know. But now I just feel like it's like all about exploitation. It's all about who has the most views. That is not classy, right? Having morals and having values and having longevity, this world likes to paint as like, hey, what can we exploit? It's kind of like that saying, if you are for everyone, you were for no one. I believe in community, but I think that also, like, I've been kind of seeing lately how you can be so conscious and you can be, spiritual, whatever, in the spiritual community. How disappointed am I with the spiritual community? Because just seeing how I feel like maybe there's a lot of people silently that support some people, but there's a couple girls that have quite a following in the spiritual community. I would say they're kind of both in the spiritual community, and like, you can talk with these topics. Look how I'm talking about this topic with not saying a name, Look how I'm waiting a little while, not talking about the exact time to bounce off that person's fame. Look how I'm waiting after, these things. I've had these thoughts before people even said these thoughts. Like, I had these thoughts instantly, and I feel like my thoughts, I've never heard people that had these takes. I don't even entertain in this stuff. All you need one little glimpse, and you can support someone, but then it's like you see the drama of what surrounded them. It's just sad to see. You could be a very intentional person with what you consume. I feel like I am. None of us is perfect. Everything is grabbing for our attention all the time, and sometimes like I just get overstimulated and I'm like a zombie, and that's when I would consume something stupid or see something because I'm just going slower, just in zombie mode. But typically I'm like not consuming things or being very intentional with something. I'm very diligent. I have not even watched movies and I love film and forever. It's upsetting. Like even people that try to create community, I've talked about before, it's this lack of community. It's like people are just so ready to pounce on you and to misunderstand you. And it's sad how people can just think that they know the way. For example, the whole Christianity, which I think should be this whole different video, people like to just categorize things and be like, this person's going through this person's going through this, or I should have never listened to this person because they did one thing. But I think we're not understanding that people that go through certain things, people that have actually real voices, they're having direct experience. And when you are actually in a direct experience on your spiritual journey specifically, right? You were specifically, because I feel like people that are kind of on this like spiritual path, and everyone's on a spiritual path, everyone is on a spiritual path, but I feel like there's people that are here to go through certain experiences because they are meant to be a strong voice, right? And when you do have these kind of like interactions with the divine or whatever you want to call it, or these experiences that are beyond explaining, and that's why you do explain these to the public, and you come across as crazy because this is a perspective perhaps that is not conditioned. This is a perspective that, is not conditioned. And then people, there's people that are in control and they like to make other people seem crazy or this or this or this, but I don't get it. Everything's at war. It's so funny when you think about it, because it's like, why is everything at war? Everything is at war because of what people could say, exploitation, capitalization. Why do people do this? Anyways, I feel like there's so many reasons I could go on why I'm just like, oh my god, people's opinion, I can be vulnerable. Why are people afraid to be vulnerable? Because they have this protection on them. People are defensive because protective of themselves, and I am very protective over myself because I had to protect myself. I don't think that's necessarily a wrong thing. You can be open but also have discernment and have a voice and be like, no, I'm gonna stick up for you. That's all about the backbone. Like, be expanded, be all this stuff. If you're just love and pure love and light, but you don't also have that backbone, that you're missing a part of you. The backbone, it's to protect you. You can be vulnerable. I can share this. Why are people always saying, maybe you shouldn't share this, maybe you shouldn't do this? Because they want me silent. They say this should be private. People want things private when they can live double lives. Really, people that want you to be private about something, they want you to be silent, it's because they are concerned with ego. They are concerned with their social image. They are concerned with certain things over truth, right? It's funny how people can be truth seekers and at the same time, like, they're living double lives. They are not being true to their soul. I just feel like so much of this world is projection. I feel like there's people that can leave things and they can see you and they're looking at this place and it's genuine constructive criticism, which I appreciate. It's not that we should not consider outside critic and outside noise, but the more that I look at other people's journeys, there's certain people which you're attracted to, and sometimes, again, the most magnetic people attract these polarities. What is a magnet? A magnet, it's the plus and the negative, right? I don't know how to describe that, but you think of a magnet, it's like it has this positive and negative that you attract to it. Think of a battery. People are attracted to magnets, but these magnets have these opposite polarities. They're polarizing, but there's people that try to fabricate this polarizationness and to get this engagement. It's sad, but it's like you're not really polarizing, you're cosplaying polarizing, because you're polarizing, I guess, without that magnetism. Polarization should always come from a result of just being true to yourself, and that's what being magnet is. It's being so in your core, but also attracting these other things out. So that's why you should not care what people think. And just because something is popular, that doesn't mean it's like actually timeless and cool. Like, I think it's better to be true to yourself, and timeless will always be better than being loud. Obviously, be loud, be strong in your voice. Like, you have a voice. There's many women all over the world that don't have a voice. Again, I stand on, like, there's this picture of, like, in 1960 or something, women were walking around and now they have no voice. Just because you have free will today, free will, we don't have, we have to censor ourselves. So is that really free will? Or we're not free will, free speech? I don't want to be polarizing in that way. I want to have a vision. I want to hold my anger and the collective anger and of womanhood, even though we all experience different experiences. I feel like there's a collective, like, unitingness that comes sometimes when women experience things, and we talk about things, and we try to bring awareness to other women. We talk about certain experiences, not from judgment, but to bring awareness. But we also need to have compassion, because the thing is, this cycle with women and men also will just repeat. Spiritual people, we could all say, like, okay, we can see the world's going towards the way of the matriarch, the birth of creation, and I feel like people lean into that too much, where they're just like, okay, well, I'm a goddess, like, worship me. At the same time, let's all be beings on this earth. But the thing is, like, the world has a lot of collective anger towards one another, and that brings misjudgment. And so that's why we should not care what people think, not from this place of fuck you, like, I'll burn everyone down, save myself. Because look, that's what some people did. And did that bring the fulfillment? Because if you just need more and more. Is that fulfillment? No, it's because you're lacking something. So let's do it from a place of co-creation in a right way. So who cares what people think? People are always going to judge you, and I think that gives you safeness to be yourself, right? You have one life to be yourself. I think with multiple lives, we're always here, and but be yourself. That's what you're here to do. You're here to know yourself, and that will bring everyone misunderstanding you almost. But the right people before you, maybe not even in this lifetime, you never know. The right people will find you and resonate with your soul. So do it for the version of you that needed to hear what you need to hear.